It was the 1970s. On the surface, the world looked calm. But underneath, it was filled with fear. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a race to outdo each other. Humans had already reached the moon, but now a deeper question had emerged. Could humanity reach the edge of its home, the limits of the solar system? And if it did, would it be able to report back? At that time, fear surrounded Jupiter. The planet was so massive that even scientists didn't clearly know whether approaching it was safe. How dangerous was its magnetic field? Would its radiation destroy a machine within seconds? No one had clear answers. The biggest fear was the asteroid belt. People believed there was a storm of rocks between Mars and Jupiter, a place where any spacecraft would be torn apart. But despite the fear, an idea had already taken shape inside NASA. If humans were ever going to leave the solar system, someone had to scout the path first. Someone had to go first, whether they returned or not. That idea became the foundation of the Pioneer mission. Pioneer was not a glamorous, expensive, human-carrying mission. It was a small, simple spacecraft. No camera crew, no live footage. Its job was just one thing: to go, to observe, and to send back as much data as possible. If it was destroyed, there would still be lessons. And if it survived, history would change. Pioneer 10 was chosen. The name sounded ordinary, but the mission itself was nothing short of a suicide mission. It had to cross the asteroid belt for the first time. It had to approach Jupiter for the first time. And it had to answer one crucial question: could a machine survive at such extreme distances? March 2nd, 1972. Launch day. There was silence at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The rocket stood ready. Inside it sat Pioneer 10, carrying both humanity's hopes and its fears. If anything went wrong today, years of dreams would end. The rocket lifted off. Through fire and smoke, Pioneer 10 climbed into the sky. Within minutes, it broke free from Earth's grip. There was no coming back now. Whatever happened next would happen very far away. The first few weeks went smoothly. Signals kept coming in. The spacecraft stayed on course. But as it moved closer to the asteroid belt, tension began to rise inside NASA's control room. Many people genuinely believed the mission would end there. They expected the cameras to shut down, the signal to disappear, and then silence. But what happened shocked everyone. The asteroid belt was not a wall of rocks. There were fragments, but they were spread far apart. Pioneer 10 passed through without any damage. For the first time, humans realized that their imagination had been far more terrifying than reality. It was a major victory, but the real danger still lay ahead. Now, Jupiter stood in front of it. As Pioneer 10 approached the massive planet, some instruments overloaded, but the core systems kept working. Radiation levels were far higher than expected. Alarms started going off in the control room. Several instruments shut down. Engineers thought this was the end. For several hours, the signal remained weak. There were moments when it felt like contact had been lost. But then, data arrived. Pioneer 10 was still alive, and what it saw had never been seen by humans before. Jupiter's clouds, its massive storms, its great red spot, all were seen up close for the first time. Jupiter was no longer just a bright dot in the sky. It became a real world. Pioneer 10 proved that machines could survive near Jupiter. It was a historic moment. At the same time, it became clear that Pioneer 10 would never return. Jupiter's gravity gave it such immense speed that it was flung toward the outer edges of the solar system. But Pioneer 10 was more than just a machine. It carried a message, a small golden plate, engraved with images of humans and the location of Earth. If anyone, anywhere, ever found it, they would know who we were. As Pioneer 10 moved farther away from Jupiter, its signals grew weaker. The voice became fainter, like someone speaking from an extreme distance. But it was still speaking. People on Earth knew this was only the beginning, because NASA had made a decision. If Pioneer 10 could survive, the next mission would go even farther, and into even more dangerous territory. That mission would be called Pioneer 11, and its story would be even more terrifying. When Pioneer 10 passed beyond Jupiter, there was no celebration in NASA's control room, only relief. Everyone knew this was just one step. The real journey was only beginning. The question was no longer whether a machine could reach Jupiter. The question now was, could we go even farther? Pioneer 11 was built to answer that question. Pioneer 11 looked almost identical to Pioneer 10, but its mission was far more dangerous. It had to pass even closer to Jupiter, so close that a single mistake could end the entire mission. And that wasn't all. After Jupiter, it had to travel to Saturn, a planet no machine had ever reached before. April 6, 1973, Pioneer 11 launched. This time, the fear was greater than before. This was no longer just an experiment. The future was at stake. If Pioneer 11 failed, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all would remain distant dreams. The early journey was calm, but as Pioneer 11 moved toward Jupiter, the atmosphere in the control room grew heavy. Its trajectory was intentionally chosen to be dangerous. It had to pass through regions where radiation was strongest. Scientists needed to know how much radiation future missions could withstand. As soon as Pioneer 11 reached Jupiter, it was hit by a storm of radiation. Its instruments reacted as if the machine were being burned from the inside. Multiple systems shut down suddenly. Some data vanished mid-transmission. For a few minutes, the signal became so weak it felt like everything was over. But then, like a final breath, the data began to return. Pioneer 11 had survived. It observed Jupiter more closely than even Pioneer 10 had. During that moment, another decision was made. The power of Jupiter would be used. Jupiter's gravity gave Pioneer 11 a new direction and immense speed. This maneuver later became known as the gravity slingshot. Without burning fuel, the spacecraft was hurled forward using the planet's own power. Now, the destination was Saturn. Saturn looks beautiful, but its rings are like traps of death. At that time, no one knew whether the rings were made of dust or solid rocks. If they were rocks, even a single fragment could tear Pioneer 11 apart. For months before reaching Saturn, debates filled the control room. Was it worth sending the spacecraft so close? If it was destroyed, everything would be lost. But the same decision was made once again. Fear would not be allowed to win. When Pioneer 11 reached Saturn, it became the farthest traveled human-made object in history. Signals now took more than an hour and a half to reach Earth. Whatever happened, the response came painfully late. As Saturn came closer, everyone held their breath. Inside the rings were tiny particles, some like dust, some like stone. Danger existed every second. One large collision, and the story would end there. But once again, luck was on humanity's side. Pioneer 11 passed safely through the rings. It delivered information about Saturn that humans had never known before. Its temperature, its magnetic field, its moons, all were understood for the first time. And then something happened that no one expected. Saturn gave Pioneer 11 one final push. Its gravitational force sent the spacecraft onto a path from which return was impossible. Pioneer 11 was now also heading out of the solar system. As the years passed, both Pioneer 10 and 11 slowly crossed the boundary of the solar system. Every minute, every hour, they moved farther from Earth. Their systems were aging, their power sources slowly dying. But the most astonishing thing was this. Both machines were still sending data. Weak and slow, but still carrying signs of life. Humans had believed no signal could survive for so many years. But Pioneer proved just how strong its design was. Small electronic systems, radio transmitters, and RTG power, all working together kept the machine alive across impossible distances. Then one day, scientists noticed something strange. Pioneer 10's signal began to slow unexpectedly. There was a slight change in its motion that couldn't be explained by normal physics. Scientists called it the Pioneer anomaly. Fear and curiosity grew together. Was a new law of gravity at work? Was there something in space humanity had never seen before? The data was studied for months. No clear answer emerged. It became clear only that the spacecraft was slowly decelerating, subtly altering its path. The mystery gripped the entire team inside NASA's control room. Some believed it was a sign of new physics. Others suspected tiny forces caused by thermal radiation. After months of analysis and modeling, the answer became clear. The heat and radiation escaping unevenly from the spacecraft were creating small forces that affected its motion. For scientists, it was a relief. But the truth remained. Both machines were now beyond human reach. In 2003, Pioneer 10 sent its final heartbeat-like signal. It was extremely weak and slow. Engineers listened to that signal and held back their tears. It wasn't just data. It was a symbol of human courage and the desire to move forward. In 2006, Pioneer 10's signal went completely silent. People on Earth could now only imagine where it was, what it was seeing. Its journey continued as a lonely machine, traveling through endless space, with no one left to listen. Pioneer 11 had already sent its final message in 1995. After that, silence followed. But the most astonishing fact was this: both machines are still on their paths. They are still moving through space, uncontrolled, away from the sun, toward the stars. And if another civilization ever finds them, the golden plate will tell them about humanity. This was not an ordinary mission. It proved that when humans take even a small step, leave fear behind, and accept risk, machines can go farther than humans themselves. Without Pioneer, missions like Voyager or New Horizons would not have been possible. Today, Pioneer 10 and 11 remain the farthest-reaching machines ever sent by humanity. Their story reminds us that moving forward despite fear is what defines us as humans. And if one day someone finds them near another planet or star, the golden plate attached to them will tell the story that this machine came from Earth.